What's up, everybody? This is Zero Gravity, Apollo Media's NBA podcast. This podcast is brought to you by Zing Zang's Blaze and Bloody Mary Mix and The Celebrity Mint. Go check out the description below on our YouTube page at Apollo HOU. You can check out all the links and where to buy those things from. We watched basketball last night, and Luka Doncic made NBA history. But I'm here with a Rockets fan, Josh Garcia. How we doing, bud?
I'm great, man. I got to see Desmond Bane drop 49. Paolo got a cool 40 on him. Yeah, Luca went a little crazy, but I definitely do want to get into the Grizzlies' agenda at some point in this pod. Seeing these random games kind of appear out of nowhere during a weird in-season tournament schedule that we've never seen before. It's pretty nice. I do want to also ask why they're scheduling an in-season semifinal game for 4 p.m. Central Standard Time, God's time zone, like you always say, on a Wednesday. It makes no sense to me. I don't know.
So
Weird
we're
stuff.
recording this Thursday, December 7th. Last night was the first of two added games to the NBA schedule. Every team got 80 games, and then depending on what happened in the in-season tournament, they got added 2 games if they were eliminated early, or if they made the knockout rounds, they get 1 game or 2 games, depending on what happens. Last night was crazy. Luka had a 40-point triple-double. Had the first player in NBA history to have a 25-point triple-double at halftime. He had 29, 10, and 10. He finished with 40, 10, and 10. Desmond Bane had 40. Paolo Banchero had 40. It was an interesting night of basketball, but I don't know what happened. Like, there was so much happening at once because every team was in action last night except for the teams in the semifinals. But we're recording this Thursday afternoon at 1:45 Eastern Standard Time, not God's time zone. I'm in Miami, Florida, the home of Jimmy Butler, your favorite player.
Right.
Yeah, the game starts in like literally 3 hours, the first game.
That makes no sense.
Pacers Bucks, I believe, is the game that's going to start
Yep.
on the in-season tournament. And I'm all for an early start time. I love early start times. Go to bed earlier. However, I mean, the Pelicans Lakers, they don't start till like 9:30 tonight Eastern Standard Time. Like, if we're going to start the first game early, make the second game early too.
Yeah, you got to go back to back. I don't know what's happening here.
It's weird. Stephen A. Smith and Chuck Barkley are going to be like on the call or in the studio together. I don't know what it is. Like, we're just going to have mayhem all day today, apparently. And I believe like the finals at like 1 or 2 in the afternoon on Saturday. None of this is prime time.
Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, is this Army and Navy week? So there shouldn't
It
be much
is.
happening on Saturday, right? Yeah. Other than
Yeah.
that, God's game, if you will.
Yeah. The nation's game, America's.
Yeah, there you go.
But yeah, the in-season tournament. So let's go over our knockout round. We both went 2-2 in different ways. I picked the Pacers and Pelicans to win, and you picked the Pelicans and Bucks to win. My losses were the Knicks and Suns. Your losses were the Pacers and Suns. We both had the Suns, and we both said that LeBron was going to be handed the first ever NBA in-season tournament trophy. But not so fast, my friend. He's not going to be handed because I don't know if you saw it, but on Twitter yesterday, the NBA came out with their 3 missed calls from the Suns and Lakers game, all of which went in favor of the Phoenix Suns. 3 straight foul calls that were not called, that should have been called. But Austin Reeves saves the day for the Los Angeles Lakers, hits the 3. The Pacers kind of just soundedly beat the Boston Celtics. The Pelicans, they had a close win against the Kings, and the Bucks just killed the Knicks in the second half. It wasn't even close in the second half. So interesting, hard-fought games, kind of. The West was a little bit more hard-fought than the East. I don't know. I'm intrigued to see what the Pacers can do against this Bucks team because Lord knows they're not defending Giannis Antetokounmpo. It's not happening.
There's something about Miles Turner, like the prospect of Miles Turner trying to guard Giannis. I know it's going to be speed on size, but they're the same size damn near. Well, Giannis is, of course, a little bigger, but it's going to be strange seeing Miles Turner at the three-point line, the only man that could even come close to guarding Giannis. I'm definitely expecting a cool 35 from Giannis, maybe a double-double in the third quarter or something crazy like that. But, yeah, I mean, more than anything, and this is due to my years of Kevin Durant hatred, seeing him airball that three-pointer to end the game, it was so nice, man. That was probably my peak moment of the in-season tournament, other than LeBron's crazy game that he had and those clutch buckets he was hitting. But man, that KD airball, man, that gave me enough fuel for at least the next week.
And KD played well for
He
the most
did.
part that game. He had a good stat line. You know who didn't play well for the Phoenix Suns that day?
Talk to me.
Devin Booker. It is time to have the full-on conversation that Dallas Mavericks fans have been having for years at this point, since 2022. The Western Conference Finals. Fraud. When it comes to an
Wrong.
elimination game, you are not good. Not good at basketball when it comes to elimination games. I don't know what it is with Devin Booker. I don't get it. What was he? 6 of 16. He had, I think, was it 7 assists or 7? No, he had 7 turnovers and 5 fouls. That's what it was. It wasn't even assists and rebounds. 7 turnovers, 5 fouls, 6 of 16 shooting in an elimination game. Devin Booker, I don't get it. What happens to you? What happens?
The Devin Booker triple single. It hits like crack in 1983, man. It's crazy every single time. One of the better things that came out of this tournament too was people saying that the NBA was rigged for the Lakers, but it was in November and December and not in playoff time. Like Adam Silver did his thing. He did his thing on this one, and I'm so glad we can all witness this.
I don't know if you had your TV on this morning on ESPN, but the topic was, how does the inaugural NBA in-season tournament affect LeBron James's legacy? Does adding a trophy propel him into the 5-ring club? Do
Oh
they get a ring
no!
for this? That's what,
Oh
like,
no!
I wasn't watching it. I saw it in passing going through the lobby. I had ESPN on one of the TVs, and it was literally on the line. How does the NBA in-season tournament trophy affect LeBron's legacy? What are we doing?
Wow, that is a tweet. That is a tweet with 3,000 quote tweets, 48 retweets, 1,000 likes. Just absolutely dogging on people. But the fact that this actually happened on national TV makes it 10 times worse to me. Like the Twitterification of sports media as a whole is insane to me.
It's it's alarming. Like, as a LeBron sexual, as they say, um, love LeBron. He's my goat. He's your goat for our generation. This is the best player that we've gotten to watch play basketball, bar none. No arguments there. What are we saying when it affects his legacy on an NBA in-season tournament that no one really knew the purpose of heading into the season? It has now generated very fun basketball to watch, but really only has monetary value for the players and weird courts and cool jerseys. That's about the extent of this tournament. This is not affecting his legacy. Even if he wins the next 3 or 4 NBA Cups, okay, great. The one that matters is at the end of the season. The one that matters is the big gold Larry O'Brien. If he can get one more, then we're really talking, because then he's in the Kobe era, he's in the Magic era with 5 NBA Finals. But an NBA in-season tournament trophy isn't going to add or deplete from his legacy if he ends up losing in the semifinals or in the finals. Like, that he loses a game. He lost a game in November and December. Jordan does that. Kareem did that. Everyone's done that. What are we even talking about, ESPN? I don't get it.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
People might complain in 20 or 25 years. When I think of in-season tournament legacy talk, I don't know why the first person that comes to mind is Trey Young. Imagine Trey Young gets 3 or 4 in-season titles before his career ends, hypothetically, right? I feel like there's going to be a section of Twitter or whatever social media exists in 20 years that is on Trey Young's sack just for saying, just to say, oh, he won 3 rings, but not in the way that we want it. In season tournament discourse is going to go crazy. I'm really with it. It's all new and it feels so fresh. So I think that's why we don't really know what to compare it to. It's almost like people saying, like, if Ronaldo wins in Dubai, he's in Dubai, right? Saudi
Saudi,
Arabia.
yeah.
Yeah. If Ronaldo wins in Saudi Arabia, you're adding that to his legacy total. Or I don't even want to compare it to like Messi winning like Copa America. Like that's a nationwide thing. But we don't know anything because it has so much. It's so minimal. It's like a FA Cup. I don't know. It's great that we're having these games and we're talking ball this early in the season. It's definitely, like I mentioned, a net good for the NBA. But legacy talk this early, this shouldn't be a conversation at least for another 5 years. And the fact that ESPN is talking about it, uh, at 7 a.m. while you're sitting in Miami, toes in the sand. Like you have to subject yourself to that. I, I don't know. I don't know. It's so nuts to me. It's
As
so
a
nuts.
Ronaldo guy, Real Madrid guy, every goal that he scores in Saudi counts towards his goal total and makes him the GOAT by far.
Sure,
And
sure.
I'm just going to count him no matter what. So LeBron fans will probably do the exact same.
Yep.
But like you said, if Trae Young were to win 3 or 4 NBA in-season tournament championships, how are we looking at it in 20 years? Well, let's just take an example here from 20 years ago, Karl Malone. How does NBA Twitter look upon Karl Malone right now? Because he scored the third most points in NBA history, fourth most points. I can't remember anymore. I think it's third. He scored a lot of points in the NBA. He went to a few finals. How does NBA Twitter look at him now in 2023? Not great.
Yeah.
There
Not
are
great.
certain words and certain lists that he is on, and is not NBA greats list.
Yeah. 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 He should be on a lot of awareness lists.
Not comparing Trae Young to Karl Malone in that
Yeah.
sense, but I feel like if they're young enough or knowledgeable enough that we're not going to be able to count this towards anything until the NBA in-season tournament turns into an NBA Cup, where we invite the European teams over, where we invite some of the South America teams over, where we have a true Champions League type of tournament, which would be sick and awesome. And then we can start looking at like the Premier League, how they do the treble. Like you win the FA, the Champions League, and the Premier League. Maybe we add another tournament in there, and then you got the NBA Finals, the NBA Cup, and then one other tournament. Then we're cooking. We're looking at
Yeah.
a treble
I love that
type
idea.
situation.
The fact that
That
you
would be
can,
awesome.
yeah, like I love that idea so much. Like I feel like because it's just two different things, like the Larry O'Brien Trophy and this. I don't know. I feel like there has to be one more thing to kind of offset it. I don't know. I don't know
I
what
don't
it
know what
would
it
be.
is.
I mean, NBA March Madness. I don't know. Like
Yeah,
I don't know
you
what
got
it
to
would
add
be.
a Champions League type of
Yeah,
thing. So maybe the
has to be
NBA
something
Cup
else.
just stays the NBA Cup. Then you got the
Yeah.
NBA Championship Finals. Then you add a they call it the Champions League. Why don't we call it something else? Maybe call it the I don't know, the Round Ball Championship. Round
Yeah,
Ball
sure.
Championship.
The
Orange
Euro
orange
America
round ball.
LeBron Championship.
We're gonna have to work on the name. We'll come
Yeah,
back
yeah,
next episode with a good name for the third
yeah.
tournament that would count towards like what a treble would be in English Premier League soccer.
Yep.
Um, it's been good. Did you see the court that they're having in Las Vegas though for the semifinals and the finals?
I saw that they stopped doing that certain color jersey for the Lakers because it became too much of a distraction. But I don't know if I actually saw the court.
So the court is blue on the main part, and down the middle stripe is red. So the NBA
Mhm.
logo colors. Uh, gross. We could have done a lot better. Black and
Yeah.
gold, gold and black, even just regular hardwood with the big trophy in the middle. That
Oh
and then
yeah.
like red or blue free throw line stripes. That could have been cool. I don't know. I'm just spitballing here. The red and blue court is not for me. It looks like the 76ers court, and there's another court out there that looks the exact same. It's gross. And yes, like you said, that the Lakers have certain jerseys for this tournament. It is black and they're kind of ugly. Like they have a big triangle on their chest of Los Angeles. It doesn't look right. Doesn't work at all. They made them for this tournament specifically. And then the NBA is like, why don't you wear your gold jerseys? Because we
Yeah.
don't really like the way the black ones are going to look.
Yeah. Like you
What
made
are
the
we
court.
even
Like
doing?
you made the court. Like what's your problem? I don't understand. I think LeBron looks great in black. I think the Lakers look great in black. Just let them play. Let the boys play. Come on.
Other than the design of the Los Angeles on the jerseys are great.
Yeah.
If you did
Yeah.
away
I'm
with,
with it.
if you did something completely different with the Los Angeles triangle on the chest, we're cooking. We're
Yeah.
cooking
The
with
nod
gas
to
there.
Phil Jackson. Yeah.
Mm. Yeah. So first game starting here in about 3 hours. Pacers and Bucks. Like we said, I don't know who's going to guard Giannis. Miles Turner can probably do something, but is holding Giannis to 35, 15, and 10 like doing something, or what do we? I don't know. And then can Tyrese Halliburton just score 40 on Damian Lillard and also dish out 20 assists? Very possible.
Yeah, a lot has to go right for those Pacers, but there's just something about seeing these Eastern Conference squads. I definitely think it's going to be like a 145, 140 kind of deal, kind of how we saw with the Knicks Bucks game the other
Yeah.
night. But I'm really expecting some high scoring. I think if not Dame, if not Giannis, Tyrese will give you 40. I mean, there's so many
Oh,
players on that court that can give you so much, and it's almost like a battle of the efficiencies in a way, because we were talking about last episode with the Bucks defensive rating and how they're all kind of very similar, and there's not really much give, but there's still somehow 9 games over 500. Today sounds like a real test for them, and it's weird that I'm saying that the Indiana Pacers can test one of the best teams in the league, and it makes me feel good to say that, because the Pacers have been so just, I don't even want to say bad. They've just been mid for almost 10 years now. I mean, what this is monumental. This in-season tournament win for them, like we talked about briefly, there's 10 different players on that team that are making under $3 million. There was a video of their bench reaction when I don't know if it was Tyrese. Someone dunked it to seal the game,
yep.
and the whole bench was going crazy when they called the timeout. You got 3 players on 2-way contracts making little to nothing in NBA terms, in NBA comparisons. So I think this is going to mean a lot more for them, and this is kind of the heart and soul team out of the 4 that are left. Pelicans are just I've always hated the vibes of the Pelicans. I saw there was a tweet that came out before the end or before the beginning of the season, and it was like the Pelicans just have a bitch ass player problem. Like all their players are bitches, and like I can't really put my finger on it, but I agree. I definitely agree. Like I don't know. I would love to see a Lakers Bucks or a Lakers Pacers for the vibes, but best 2 teams overall in this tournament, Lakers Bucks. There's a lot that can happen, and I'm definitely with the idea of all these games being really high scoring, especially in Vegas. Like the overs are going to hit. Like the script is perfectly writing itself, and I'm very excited for these games, and I'm excited to hear your previews as well. Who do you think is going to be the X factor in these games? Outside of Giannis, outside of LeBron, who's really going to be the guy that makes that world of a difference? Because for me, if Miles Turner gets into it, if he just if he holds Giannis to under 25 points, he won. He won. Even if they lose by 30, he won. So there's definitely going to be some agendas that are going to be pushed over these next couple days, and this in-season tournament is going to add a weird but much needed kind of addition to the lore of this NBA season.
Yeah, and I think Pacers, their offense is incredible. They're going to score a lot of points. Tyrese Halliburton's going to go off. They have no guard help on the Bucks side, so I think there's going to be just a shitload of points scored, essentially, is what's going to happen. Benedict Mathurin, looking at you. Maybe you can go off a little bit and help the Pacers out. I'm going to pick the Pacers. Just blazing hot take from Zing Zang. I'm taking the Pacers. They're going to beat
There it is.
Giannis, because it's going to be Giannis on his own. Damian Lillard is probably going to score a handful of points as well, because Pacers don't play defense either. So I'm interested to watch this game just because it's going to be bucket after bucket after bucket.
Exactly, and that's what we all want. That's what we all want. I mean, this is huge. Like we always mentioned, there's nothing to compare this to. So just enjoy it for what it is. Have fun watching it. Don't think too much about it. And I think that once we get out of this, 5-10 years down the line, then we can have something to compare it to. But just enjoy it. Like it's a new concept. Just have fun.
It'll be fun. And then Pelicans, Lakers, just going to go ahead and take the Lakers. LeBron in a elimination game, he's going to probably ball out as long as Anthony Davis doesn't just collapse inside of himself and Austin Reeves doesn't. If Austin Reeves does what he did against the Suns, then we're chilling. Like the Lakers are good. I think they have enough people to throw at Zion to pick up enough fouls, essentially, to put Zion away for a little bit. He's going to probably put up 25 plus, but
right.
I don't know. I trust the Lakers more than I trust the Pelicans, just because, like you said, not a good vibes team from the Pelicans.
Yeah, I don't like it. Alvarado's cool. Herb Jones is cool, but I mean, like I mentioned last episode, you put those 3 stars, and we'll call CJ McCollum a star just for the sake of this. You put any of those people on other teams. I mean, the amount of marketing, the amount of exposure that they would be getting. Even you put Zion on Utah, even like Zion and Lauri Markkanen, that's a perfect marketable duo. And people might not agree with that, but there's definitely they have a bitch ass player problem, and it's sad that some of the greatest players in the West, if not the Southwest Division, just happen to reside on that team, because they don't really have the results to show for it. At least
Yeah.
up to this point, if they cannot continue and win the semifinals and go on to the finals.
Did you see the video of Brandon Ingram and Zion Williamson at their press conference before this? And someone was like, "What are you going to do with the $500,000 if you win?" And Zion just let out a belly laugh, and Brandon Ingram just kind of snickered. I don't know what Zion's going to do with it, but
Strip
it's
club,
probably pretty funny.
strip
Probably
club.
pretty funny.
Yep. He's
And
the
then
new Harden. He's the new Harden. I think that's why I like Zion so much.
that's fair. And then
Yeah.
Jose Alvarado said that he couldn't wait to give that $500,000 to his daughters, who couldn't be more than like 10 years old.
Yeah.
Like at the very high point. Like, what are your kids going to do with 250 grand each?
No. Got to be
I
some
don't know.
savings bonds or some crazy something they won't even touch for
It
10
just
years.
goes into the trust fund.
Yeah, gotta be. But my favorite thing was Josh Hart saying, "Go get some ice, you loser." That was
Yes,
awesome.
absolutely. Josh Hart, shout out to you. But the NBA in-season tournament has been a raving success this year, if you tell me. I think it's been awesome to watch good basketball in November and December, and not everyone just sleepwalking and the stars just kind of doing whatever they want. There's actually been good basketball being played in the early part of the year, which has been fun, and I think that's what the NBA needed pre-Christmas was some excitement around the league during football season, because football is
Yep.
king in America. It always will be, probably forever and ever, as long as
Yep.
football doesn't ever go away. But the NBA just being able to be in headlines and storylines without it being drama off the court or a trade demand or whatever it may have been earlier in the season. At least we got all that out of the way, and we got some good basketball to watch. We actually got to talk ball, not storylines. So that's good.
Exactly. Great run for the podcast. Great run for the NBA. I'm definitely excited to see how this tournament's going to end out.
Yeah, it's going to be a blast. So we recorded this on December 7th, right before the game started. Go check us out on YouTube at Apollo HOU. Hit our description for Zing Zang's Blazing Bloody Mary Mix, as well as the Celebrity Mint. Go check them out. Thank you for sponsoring this episode. And this has been Zero Gravity, Apollo Media's NBA podcast.
Thanks for watching, y'all.